What's up, guys? My name is Tyler Lawrence Gray. I play Harlan Briggs on Wolfpack, and you're listening to Young Entertainment Mag.
We are really excited to speak with you today. So, all of our readers are really excited about the new show that just premiered pretty recently, and it seems like it's going to fill the kind of Teen Wolf hole that was left in everybody's heart after that show ended. Because Jeff Davis is involved, and he created Teen Wolf, and now he's involved in this show as well. So, what was it like to work with him? Did you get the chance to speak with him before you started filming? What has your relationship been like with him professionally?
It's been amazing. Jeff's a great guy. I mean, he's super genuine and humble, and I've been a big fan of his for a while. And being able to just work with him on set and even before we were shooting, I remember the first time we ever met him, we were all at like a little group workout because he wanted us to like train a little bit before the show. And he just like stopped by to say hey, and like we were all kind of like starstruck. But after working on set for like months and messaging back and forth with him and really just getting to understand like our characters and plot of the show, like it almost feels like he's a friend now. We'll go over there sometimes and just like watch some clips that he wants to show us and stuff like that. And it's really chill and down to earth now. And I only have good things to say about him.
That's great. So was he someone that you met around the time of your audition, or was it after you got cast that you met him for the first time?
Yeah, actually, my first callback for Wolfpack, he was, on the Zoom call, and I was like, "Oh my God, is that Jeff Davis?" Like, wait, now I'm really nervous. Like, shoot, hold it together, Tyler. But no, he's a really cool guy, and I remember him just having all positive things to say, even in my callback. Like, he was like, "That was great, Tyler. Like, you're really good." Just it made me feel really good, and I was like, I can't tell if he's lying to me or if he's genuinely just a good guy. But, after working with him, I was like, no, he likes to boost people's confidence. He knows that it brings out the best in people.
Yeah, that's awesome. And he seems like he's really passionate about all the projects that he works on. So it's always fun to see when people that are behind the scenes of the show, they get so excited and then the cast gets excited and then obviously the fans can feel that and they get all excited too.
Definitely, yeah. Like he is someone who, God, I think it's beyond passion. I think it's obsession with him, which is honestly, it's a great thing, in the entertainment and film industry. Like he puts like so much work into every minute detail. And you're right, like it does reflect onto the actors because then we're like, okay, he's taking this really seriously. We have to take this really seriously. And, you know, then after that, it translates pretty well to the audience. So.
For sure, yeah. So, what do you remember from your very first moments of being involved with this show? Do you remember back when you auditioned? What was that process like? And how much were you told about the project throughout your audition process? Because sometimes some details are hush hush, they don't necessarily tell you what the project actually is or how big it is. Do you remember from your audition how much you knew about the project and things like that?
I really didn't know anything about the project. I actually had to sign an NDA
Oh,
to just for like the sides that they gave me. All I knew was my character's description, like Harlan's description, and that's what they gave me, and I kind of ran with it. And honestly, like looking back at my audition, I'm like, oh, I would have played that so much differently now that I shot an entire season with the character. But I kind of had a good understanding. I sort of just took some inspo from like past Teen Wolf episodes and stuff like that and tried to incorporate it because I was like, I don't know how similar this show is going to be, but I'm going to try and match that tone like to the best of my ability. And then, after shooting, I was like, okay, it's a little more dark and, slightly more grounded. I mean, I honestly thought that the acting in Teen Wolf was still really good.
mhm.
I used to love watching that show. I still go back and just like flick through it sometimes because like I don't know, it just reminds me of like good memories when I was younger. But yeah, it was it was sort of a long audition process. It took about a month of callbacks and meetings with the casting directors and the producers, and eventually it took a last call with the casting directors, and they were like, all right, it's a big commitment. You're going to be out in Atlanta for like 5, 6 months. Like, it does get kind of tough. Are you ready for it? And I was like, yes, like, not even a question. And it was tough, but honestly, not even as tough as I thought it was going to be. I think it was just because we had so much fun with it.
Yeah, well, that brings up a good point about playing this part because obviously it's a big time commitment as well, with, like you said, 5 or 6 months filming in Atlanta. And obviously it's a big responsibility to take on these characters. And it seems like, especially with the parts that you play, that it could be very physically demanding at times too. So, what do you think was probably the most challenging part of working on this project, and how did you overcome
Um, Balancing a schedule, because we would shoot for 12 plus hours each day, and it was tough to get groceries after that, cook. I was staying on a pretty strict diet and a strict workout regimen to stay in shape because obviously my character called for that, and it just took a lot of like balance and just reminding myself, like, don't get stressed out. This is why you're here. Like, it's work. Like, just stay focused. Don't let distractions get in the way. And there was points where like I would, come home to a really messy apartment and like unclean dishes, and I was just like, oh, what am I doing? But like I would just snap into a mode of like, all right, we're gonna clean it, and then you can reward yourself by going and getting sushi with the rest of the cast. And it sort of, fell into this cycle of like doing that. And a lot of people honestly ask, like, did you like go out a lot and like explore Atlanta and Georgia? And like as much as we did try to explore, like shooting and working out and that kind of stuff took up like 75% of the time.
Yeah, I bet. Especially between, like you said, 12 to 14-hour days is, I can't even imagine how hard that is to balance with everything else.
It gets a little tough, but like I said before, when you're having fun with it, you don't even realize that the time's going by.
No. So you mentioned an interesting part about having to keep in shape with this character. Like, obviously, playing this type of character could be kind of physically demanding. So, did you have any training? I think you mentioned that maybe Jeff's organized some kind of training for you guys to get more kind of accustomed to that kind of process of working that into the character. What was that kind of training like?
It was just working with a personal trainer. Shout out Tony. He was the man. And it was nothing like super, excruciating and like, oh my God, what are we doing? We were just like lifting and honestly working out together. I think it was more of a social aspect for Jeff too. I think he wanted us to get comfortable around the idea of like, you know, stick with working out, keep eating healthy. Like these characters do have to portray like people that are in really good shape. But it never got like over the top with it. We always like had so much fun when we were lifting, and I kind of understand why he did it now because we were used to doing it together in LA with the trainer, that by the time we moved to Atlanta, we all lived in the same apartment complex and we had a gym in there, and we were all still hitting group workouts like basically all throughout, the span of shooting. So it worked out really good.
Yeah, that definitely proves how great Jeff is with his projects and being in the business. Seems like when he has a certain idea, he knows this is not just going to be good for the camera; it's going to be good for the overall experience. So that is
Yeah,
really cool to hear.
yeah. It definitely brought us a lot closer, and we're all really good friends now. They're like family to me, really.
That's so great. Well, one person that I specifically wanted to ask you about was Sarah Michelle Gellar. Everyone is really, really excited for her return. It seems like she's having a Sarah Michelle Gellar renaissance. Another renaissance is happening for her. We're all really,
Definitely.
really excited about it. So, what do you remember about meeting her for the first time? Did you have to do press with her when the show came out? What has that experience been like getting to know her?
It's been amazing, you know. Sarah is almost like a set mother figure to all of us. Like she really just like took the time to like basically craft us into like what she sort of went through. She from working so many years has learned from success and probably mistakes. And I know that everything that she said to us was like a very, wise and thought out, quote that she wanted us to learn. She honestly, she was so funny too. Like we were so intimidated at first. Like Jeff, the first day that, we were gonna like see her, he was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, like Sarah's over there." And we were like, "What? Are you sure? Like really?" And we met her, we shot a scene with her, and she was just so down to earth and humble, just like cracking jokes to us. And it stayed like that throughout the entire season. Like every single time I saw her, there was never a bad interaction. And I didn't see her have bad interactions with anyone. Like she was comfortable with the camera crew, the light rigs, like everyone. She's a really like genuine person, and she never let any of that stuff get to her head.
That's so great to hear. She seems like such a pro at this point. We all know she's been working for so many years. So that's super great to hear that as much as we want her to be so great, sounds like she is such a great person to work with.
Yeah, she really is. Like I'm so excited, hopefully, that we can do season 2 and shoot with her again, because it was such an honor so far.
Yeah, we're definitely all hoping that season two renewal is on the rise, and we hope that we get that as well. But for those that are still finding the show and definitely falling in love with these characters, is there anything that you could tease for us about what they can expect throughout the season? I know you might be tight-lipped on quite a bit, but what can
Yeah,
you?
no, I mean, I and obviously like I don't want to spoil anything to anyone, just because like it's more fun finding it out throughout the episodes. But each episode genuinely gets like more and more entertaining and crazier. And I think everyone's perceptions of the characters that they have right now are definitely gonna slightly change throughout the season. There's a lot of stuff that goes down, and there's a lot of things that the characters have to, face and overcome and come to deal with. So people are gonna fall in love with different characters for different reasons. Maybe even different reasons than they already did in the first 2 episodes. I've been seeing some comments online on how they view each character so far, and I'm like, oh, you guys are not ready. You guys are not ready for what's about to come.
That's awesome. We definitely can't wait to see what's ahead and see more of Harlan. I also wanted to ask you if you could describe. Let's go with Harlan, your character. If you could describe your character in 3 emojis, what do you think those 3 would be?
Um, Probably the emoji where it's like blowing smoke out of the nose, like he's upset, like, and then maybe like the smiling devil emoji, because he likes to like get under people's skin and sort of, he's aware of like causing problems when maybe it's not the best time to. And honestly, the only 3. I would definitely say I would have to throw a nice one in there for him as well. Maybe like the one with like the smiling and like the hearts around the face. Just because like even though so far, he's coming off as like a very, tough fronted character who doesn't really seem to have empathy for anyone. Obviously, there's something deep down that is causing him to act like that, because I think everyone's capable of, showing that other side, like that better, more sympathetic side.
That's awesome. Yeah, we definitely can't wait to see throughout the season all the different dimensions of Harlan and things like that. So, when it came to playing Harlan, did getting into like the hair and makeup and the full wolf attire, did that help bring the character to life, and what was that process like? How long did you, obviously you trained a lot physically, but how long did it take to physically do the transformation that we see on screen?
Well, most of that transformation, like if you're talking about like the wolf stuff, like the eyes are CGI, and we did have prosthetic fangs though. I still have them in my room. Sometimes I just put them in and chomp them around because it's fun. But I would say like for really understanding the character and really like picking his brain and sort of seeing how he viewed things, it definitely took like a few episodes for me to really understand it. At first I was just like, okay, I have the character description. I see you know, the things that he deals with and the situation that he's in right now. But one person that actually really changed my perspective on that was Rodrigo Santoro. Obviously, he plays Garrett, our stepfather, and he gave me this really good insight one day with me and Chloe, and he was like, "What do you think Harlan did before we see him in the first episode? Like, what do you think his life led up to before?" And I was like, wow, that's actually a really interesting thing that I never thought about. Like, I guess you're right. Like, I could sort of like just make it up to the best of my ability based off of like the information that I already have. And once I started doing that, I was like, oh, okay. Like a lot of these things could have been, things that were brought out in his childhood or like things that he stuck with or things that he liked. And it really just helped me understand like who he was as a person more. So shout out Rodrigo.
Very cool. And how did you develop like the wolf speak or the wolf talk? Was that kind of a difficult process, or did that take some time, or did Jeff kind of have a vision for what that would sound like?
He didn't really tell us anything in particular. We, for, shooting, I think all of us had a conversation one night and we were like, guys, we know that the time is probably going to come where we're going to have to, growl like werewolves and like, do all of this crazy animalistic things. But we were all down for it. Like, we were like, hey, we can all just like become egoless for a second and just really forget about who we are and just like, you know, do it. And honestly, like personally, I looked up a few things, just like, like wolves like growling and like howling and stuff like that. And I tried to like take some of that inspo into what I did, but I kind of just like did my own thing, just like everyone else. And it's kind of cool how they're setting it up so far. I don't really want to like spoil anything, but when we were doing ADR, they wanted to get basically more takes of us like doing different growls and like screeches and stuff like that because I think they're going to do like something really special with it. And I think Jeff is going to make it very specific after he has, all of like the data that he needs from us.
Very cool. I wanted to ask you, would it be too much to ask for you to say you're watching Young Entertainment Mag in the wolf voice?
God, okay, one thing is we haven't really, I'm not sure if Teen Wolf did that where they were like speaking with like in wolf form. But at least with Wolfpack so far, I think when we sort of have those transformations, like obviously you see us with our eyes glowing in the woods in the first episode, and that's still like humanistic like,
Mhm.
but from experience so far, like having the fangs in, it's like complete unconscious like animal.
Yeah, I
But
bet the fangs kind of take you there. They make the
also,
transformation go like 0 to 100.
oh yeah, it's so easy to. And also it's kind of hard to speak with the fangs because they gave us like really like cool like jagged looking teeth, and we were all trying to like talk to each other in them. We would end up just like drooling outside of the mouth and just like cracking up. And like anytime we wanted to ask a question like in between a take for that, we would have to like pop
Take them,
like
yeah.
our set out and be like, what do we have to do again, and then pop them back in. But Yeah,
Very cool. Well, we also, before we get a chance to go, we'd like to ask you a couple like rapid fire questions.
definitely.
So let's see, let's pull this up. First off, what is your go-to Starbucks order?
Um, venti iced pumpkin cream cold brew when it's fall time, but when it's not, I like uh the sugar cookie latte. It's fire.
Those are good. I also have a different one in the fall. Seasonal, it's like you gotta have different ones
Oh yeah, like holiday season, like it's turned into like pumpkin spice, peppermint, like you gotta have it.
for sure. Favorite thing to eat from Crafty while on set?
Oh. I think me and Armani. Well, actually, no, Armani's was definitely like a Snickers bar. Mine was probably, hmm, honestly, love Sour Patch Kids. I'm such a huge fiend for sour candy, but for some reason, I found myself eating Lifesavers mints like 24/7. I don't know why.
Crafty always has those they're like little hidden gems that you see them
Yeah.
on trips. You're like, oh, I don't know if I would take that, but then by the end of it, I feel like a lot of people they have a new favorite.
Oh yeah, they have like stashes like hidden in like their trailers and like their chairs and stuff. It's funny.
That's awesome. Favorite wolf or supernatural movie or TV show other than Wolfpack and other than Teen Wolf?
Mm. Um, I was honestly a really big fan of Vampire Diaries. That was really cool.
That's a classic. So
Yeah.
vampires or werewolves?
Mm. I would have to go with werewolves just because I'm sort of portraying one and gotta root for the home team. But Vampire Diaries was really cool. I started watching it with my sister actually when I was younger, and then I just started watching it on my own. And I was like, I really like this show. Like, this is a really cool plot. And now I'm literally like doing a different form of that, which is like insane.
Yeah, it's cool to see the lasting power that the vampire and werewolf stuff definitely has. Because here we are. However, I think Vampire Diaries started around maybe like 2010, and now here we are, and it's
I
still
know.
as strong as ever.
It's crazy. Oh, time flies by.
For sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. We're like I said, we're really excited to watch the rest of the season, and we got our fingers crossed for season 2 renewal coming very soon. Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you so much. It was great talking to you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe. Young Entertainment Mag.